Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute 38th Public Testimonial Meeting for Monday, January 13th, 2020. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome here. We'd like to hear all of your experiences that you've had in the recent month with the Keshe technology. I'm your host, Flint Mulhausen, along with Rick Crammond. Hello, Rick.
Yes, hello, Flint. Welcome to 2020. Lots of sayings how we'll see clearly in 2020. Wondering if anybody is seeing clear on some testimonial that they might have experienced, especially if it is in 2020. It would be nice to have some uplifting news to start off the year with. We've got one testimonial that's interesting that was put on the testimonials site on December 23rd from Japan, from Atsuko. And it goes, Atsuko's mother-in-law is 96 years old. Her neck is rigid and can't turn freely. And Asuko prepared a CO2 neck tube for her with 200 cc's in the tube. And there's some sentence I'm not clear with. People said if it's a little bigger, she thinks that it would bear more energy. Not sure what that means, but I guess that was translated from the Japanese. In any case, she went to visit her mother-in-law after that, and she expressed she likes the Gans cream she gave her last time. She truly thinks it's a great joy to study something about the Gans. Her sister said she is doing a good deed. It's great. Please note the Gans she used is sea Gans without washing the salts, and leave it there for 1 month before harvesting. And that the copper coil has been nano-coated for 1 month, and that they use a chopstick to what they say introduce into the tube, which means to make the coil with. They use the chopstick to make the nano-coated copper coil. Her experience on several aged people is simply using the copper coil can feel good and comfortable, but the pain doesn't go away. Her experience is there is a need to combine the sea Gans together with the nano copper. And apparently they had good results with that combination. So that's interesting, and it's kind of nice to hear.
Yeah, that was good.
There was one other testimonial about a method used to produce CO2 GANs with using a 1.5 volt battery, but the idea was mainly as an experiment to see how the flow propagates during the GANs formation. So this is from Dante in Italy. In a plastic container, I immersed in a 6% NaCl salt solution 2 plates, 1 zinc and 1 copper nano covered, connecting them to a 1.5 volt battery. And then he just says the experiment allowed me to see how the flow propagates during GANs formation. So generally we don't recommend the battery use for GANs production, because although you can get a rapid production, you may not get the exact materials that you wish, number one, and number two, the copper plate will tend to lose its nano covering quite quickly, and if it does, then you start producing the copper GANs instead of the CO2 GANs. So it's a little tricky with the battery use. Okay, that's about it on that. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, we can go ahead to others that might like to give a testimonial.
Yeah, just raise your hand there or unmute.
Okay. Sometimes it takes a little time to warm up our panelists and attendees here on this particular workshop. So again, we can ask, or we can have some dead air time. That puts the pressure on too.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have someone with.
Do you have anything there, John, from the people that come and get CO2 from you? Plasma water.
Oh, I've got hundreds of people that come along every day, but I've got a nice testimonial. The thing is, in a few minutes, I got another meeting with Ursula and Ella, so I don't want to make it long. There's a very nice testimonial of a little dog, a 2-month dog, which had a shattered hind leg bone, and apparently her mother slept on her when she was born, and she was implanted with a 10 centimeter uh, implant to help the bone reconstruct. She was 2 months old, and she was given Gans water, and 2 days later, that implant was spat out from her behind, but the bone was completely reconstructed. So the Gans water reconstructed the bone, and that implant was it came out of her behind. So it's incredible. The person that has this dog told me she was going to send the photos and what you might call it, the X-rays, but I still haven't received them. So next time I see this person, I hope to get these X-rays to show how this little dog progressed. But I think this is fantastic.
Great. Thank you, John. Nice to see some more details on that later.
Yes, thank you. That's amazing. Only 2 days?
That's what the woman said, so I got to believe what she says.
Mm-hmm.
And the vet that attended the dog sent me some other people to fetch Gans water. So apparently the vet was very impressed also.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
How about Gianni? Gianni, do you have anything new? You may need a translator. Okay. Anybody else have any experiences or comments, testimonials that they'd like to bring forward? Doesn't have to be using GANs or whatever. It can be maybe you had some kind of transformational experience or other insights due to some knowledge you might have come across in the Kesh Foundation, for example. We might have a short show today, Flint.
Yeah.
Need a day off? Well, I can give a testimonial that's occurred to me recently.
Oh, okay.
I frequent a local cafe for my coffee, and there's the people that work there. Um, they're usually young people. It's a temporary job. They kind of come and go. And over the years, I've seen lots of these young people, having this as a temporary job. So it's kind of interesting to see the various types of individuals that come and go there. So every once in a while, there's someone that sort of sticks out as someone that is perhaps more curious than usual, or they're more open than usual. And that's when I start dropping hints about the Kesh Foundation teachings and technology. And so there's one person there that's this young lady. She must be maybe, I don't know, 20 years old or something. And she just really picked up on it. She's just like a sponge and really open to the knowledge of the Kesh Foundation. So I gave her some links, and she was busy looking up, the various things about GANs and about the nanotechnology and so on and so forth. And she comes back to me with some really good, questions about the basics on this, and what is the connection between the GANs, and our cells, and our is there, how does that connection work, and this kind of thing. So I'm forced to either explain or to point to other places where she can get more information and so on, and she'll go off and look at that. So it's kind of neat to sort of be there as a reminder for people that there is an alternative, there is a different way of viewing our universe, basically. But there's an alternative to, well, for example, this person, she's confused how, like many young people today, she's confused on how to move forward from high school to university. Do they continue with, after maybe one basic year of university, then they're supposed to specialize? And a lot of the people today, they don't really want to specialize and get into just biology or just physics or just music or whatever. They want to have a more broad spectrum learning experience. And they may not want to lock down into one specific thing that's designed to get you a job in that specific industry. And so they get confused and, maybe take a trip to Europe instead or whatever, because the choices available just don't really fit. They aren't giving them a holistic or more complete picture of what's of the knowledge that's available currently. And they're too constrictive in their teaching methods, so they can't just learn what they want to learn. They have to learn a specific curriculum, and that can be too confining for some of the free-spirited kind of people that might be more attracted to the Kesh Foundation teachings and workshops and so on. So that's one way of that people might find, if you frequent a cafe or some other place in public, there's always people around, and you might keep in mind that you can be there as kind of a beacon of the availability of knowledge You don't have to be spouting off all the knowledge yourself, but to just be there to show them that there's links, there's groups they can join, there's the various Facebook groups, there's you know, the KFSSI website, the Keshe Foundation website, and literally hundreds of other internet locations that they can soak in some information that's basically not available in the mainstream media. So it's a pleasure to be in that position, to be able to turn people on to the Keshe Foundation. And we never know what the repercussions are going to be years later. It could really influence someone that goes on to become a major scientist in the field, and they apply the Keshe teachings or whatever, and could have amazing results. So that's basically my testimonial of my sort of daily interaction. I'm always watching for those that are open to discussing the technology and teachings of the Keshe Foundation. And that's like always topic number one. Find an opening and see if they're open to the to that type of interaction. Not everybody can handle the ideas of the Keshe Foundation, because they're quite radical, and it kind of can shake people up a little bit. They might think you're a bit odd talking about space technology, and are you a scientist or are you an astronaut or something? Not necessarily. So anyway, that's it for my little spiel. If there's any questions or comments, go ahead. I see Sean has his hand up here. You want to go ahead, Sean? You can open your microphone there.
Hi, Rick. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Can you say who you are, where you're from?
My name is Sean. I'm from Montana originally, but I live in Florida now. And my background is pretty much a backyard mechanic or jack of all trades. I'm an engineer, a maintenance engineer. I've worked security. I've done a million different jobs and studied a million different things, including different spiritualities. What brought me to Keshe, I guess, is my curiosity about the space part of it, but how it tied to sacred geometry that I had learned through various teachers like John Bello, Melchizedek, and some other things. And that space aspect of how the universe is created and how the fields interact together in that same pattern, like all life appears to. And so anyway, I started by piecing together some of the original videos to make some GANs. And I did make some CO2 GANs before I learned that you were supposed to rinse the plates really good after you did the process. So that I was planning on using it as a potential health supplement, experimenting with it. And so I didn't consume any of it, but I was able to get a small amount in the bottle of the jar, probably 5 millimeters worth in a little pint jar. And it's been sitting there for probably 8-9 months, I'm guessing. And it just sits there kind of happy as pie. And I haven't done anything else with it at this point. I still have my stuff, but I'm quite busy all the time. So I fell away looking at some other topics. As you know, there's a million things in the world going on right now. And then just here this last week, kind of came back upon all of the videos in the group and see that there's been a whole lot of activity going on, including these recent conferences. And super excited about the possibility of maybe, if all the stars align, getting to the Mexico conference, although I realize they're mostly for, diplomats and things like that, for people getting that level of people introducing it into communities. But also I'm a former massage therapist in the energy healing and that. former pharmacy technician. And it's amazing how this can change the planet once it wakes people up to it. There's just so much background information in it that a person, I guess, almost needs in order to understand really how beneficial it's going to be for people. How long does GANs last?
How long does the sun last?
GAN. Okay. Oh, okay. Good answer. Very
I think
cool.
it also depends on how it's used, perhaps. Maybe if there's a lot of energy transfer happening, it might be able to be depleted or something like that. But as Mr. Kesh says, it's like miniature suns. So in that sense, maybe that's got huge potential that we haven't even tapped into yet. Like we get some of the fields from the sun, on planet Earth, but there's a lot of other fields that are also given off by the sun that maybe we aren't getting right now, and we could tap into to extract a lot more energy, let's say. So, if they're miniature suns and are treated properly in the correct environment, for example, if the GANs dries out and you have your dried GANs, that's in a different state, then has a different effect and a different field response. And you can't just add the water to it and make it all back to its original field condition necessarily.
Okay.
For example, you wouldn't want to dry out the GANs and then add water to it, mix it up, and then let it settle and drink the GANs water. It wouldn't be as effective that way as making the original GANs and letting that settle and using the top plasma water to work with, and so on.
So Rick, mine has been in water. The pint jar is almost full, and I did rinse the GANs. I just hadn't rinsed the plates before I put them into the solution with the electrodes to connect them to the zinc plate. But it is recommended that you get those plates rinsed very well if you're going to use it for that, not just rinsing the GANs, correct?
Yeah, that's the idea. You might introduce some materials into your GANs water that you didn't expect. Let's say if the plates weren't rinsed properly, you have the sodium and hydroxide, and they're pretty powerful and can interact. But you might be able to use that GANs water, for example, on once it's rinsed and in some kind of proper relationship with the water, and in other words, 2 or 3 rinsings of the distilled water to take the salt out. You might want to leave a little bit of salt in, trace amount. And then it could be used, for example, with house plants in some sort of experiment, or some other situation that's not necessarily for health benefits. It might work okay in a pain pad or something like that, possibly. But you wouldn't want to, I don't think you'd want to ingest the GANs water in that case if the plates weren't rinsed properly.
No, I agree. And that's what I used it for. I grew an avocado from seed, and I had it in there. I don't know necessarily the proximity that it needs to be for the field of it. I didn't know if I had to have 2 to have it interact with it. So they've kind of been in proximity to each other. This recent plant, I've actually grown 2. This one's been a little bit further away, and it seems quite happy. But it's an interesting experiment for sure, and I look forward to starting back up again and maybe making some zinc or some copper GANs and going from there. But it seems like the information has gone well past that now in the teachings, and there's a lot more getting ready to come out. I think this year is going to be amazing. And one of the other things that was phenomenal for me is that when searching YouTube, the Keshe Foundation has maintained an ad-free, advertisement-free, other than their own product, ads the entirety of the time. Not all, a lot of YouTube channels can't say that, and that was another thing that struck me as just to validate them a little bit more. I hope that more people are brought to the community. I'm going to sit back and listen for the rest.
Thank you very much, Sean. I think you'd be a welcome addition to any spaceship if you were interested in going to space. I think that your qualifications are, so broad spectrum, yet specialized in many ways too, that once you've really meshed with the Keshe technology, then you'd be invaluable because of your experience. I think this is great. This is a classic example of, you've come from how many different disciplines and trainings. You're talking about, pharmacological in one hand, and engineering on the other hand, and you probably know about electronics and plumbing, and a bunch of things that you've done. So that's practical experience, and also lots of brain knowledge as well. And but the thing with the Keshe technology, it's able to sort of activate those things in a new way, and you can take and pick and choose, to sort of live in both dimensions, or work in both dimensions. You can easily translate from, okay, now that I know how to make GANs, and it's a basic procedure. I've done similar things in the lab before, and this is, I can follow certain procedures. You knew, once you had the knowledge about the plates, for example, you know exactly what to do next time, so as to not to make that error and make some really good GANs. And the more you refine your techniques, which you can do rapidly because of your previous experiences and so on, you would probably do well at any aspect of the Keshe technology that you apply yourself to. But like you say, there are millions of different ways of approaching the technology. And Mr. Keshe once said something that really stuck with me about, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago when we first started doing these shows. And he said, there's as many types of reactors in the universe as there are stars in the universe. So that means there's a lot more than 1 million different ways. And each of those reactors has a lot more than 1 million different ways that you can interact with them. And in fact, each reactor would probably have 6 billion different ways, because there's 6 billion or whatever numbers of people on this planet. And if they each saw that reactor, they would have a slightly different interaction with it. So it's
that's cool.
There's a lot of variables amongst all that. And so it's our job, in a way, our meaning the knowledge seekers that follow these things, to specialize in whatever it is that's our passion, basically. Our what's your thing, as they say. What's your thing? What is it that you do in life that's special for you? Like, I think each human has something that they can do better than literally better than anyone else on the planet. And it's just one funky little thing, whatever it is, but it also represents their being, their attitude, their whole, essence, basically, in whatever that specialty is. So we can still sort of um, keep a certain viewpoint or whatever, but also combine it with the Keshe teachings at the same time, and find out that way, really reach our potentials and explore those potentials in a better way. And a great way to do that right now, the big opportunity for everyone is to get signed up with these groups that are forming in the private teaching. These are like research groups, research teams, and there's a number of topics. In fact, you can create your own topic if you wanted to. And there's one group, find the link here, I don't have it in front of me, but there's one main group that's forming right now in Telegram, as a Telegram group. And it's got, I don't know, 400 or 500 or something people that have joined there so far. And that'll be
the Keshe One World family.
Keshe One World family. If we could get the link for that and post it, that would be good. There's a way that there's the link that has you download the Telegram software if you need to, and so on. So I highly recommend that for people like yourself, Sean, because that way, if you have something that you'd like to work on, like some sort of technical project that you'd like to interact with others with, and just get those creative juices going, basically, and have someone else that you can bounce off of that has at least a basic understanding similar to you in whatever it is, whatever device or operation or procedure or internal work that you want to do, is you can be together with like-minded souls that can produce some kind of usable object, or produce a procedure that others can follow that makes it easier and better to do something or another, but in one way or another elevate our position as humans on this planet. Like here's a great example that Flint's sent to me here from the YouTube right now, from someone called Tesla Coil Romania. And they said, I would like to use nano-coated coils to make the electrostatic anti-gravitational platform, maybe. And so, I mean, I think that's a beautiful idea. I'd be joining that group to use nano-coated coils to make the electrostatic anti-gravitational platform. Perhaps it needs some modification as to the concepts and the way things are worded. That's basically like a more of a Tesla technology rather than Keshe technology. But I see that's exactly where the beauty is, to combine these technologies to produce something that's a hybrid that'll get us to the next position, let's say. So using nano-coated coils to make the electrostatic anti-gravitational platform, I'm in. What do you think, Sean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds amazing that there's groups out there that are started like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Pardon me?
It's a small world right now. It's growing, but even the energetic form of this information, along with the physical science of plasma science, both areas, the way they mesh is amazing, but both groups to me are small. And so many people out there are looking for something. I think this is that end road that they might find. And hopefully we can help them there. Like you say, I think it's very cool if there's places we can all go to continue to talk outside of just the the YouTube and the Zoom video opportunities and the teachings each week.
Yeah, and like you say, it's in a way, it's about the what was it? The second thing you said there about the creating the thoughts or creating the environment. Or how did you say it? Do you remember? You had 2
No,
points.
I forget.
It's like
The thoughts.
Well, the idea is that once these concepts and ideas of, for example, the using nano-coated coils to make the electrostatic anti-gravitational platform, just the mere talking about that as an idea sort of gets it out into the ethers, let's say. And I think sometimes that's as important, perhaps more important. In fact, it is more important than the actual manifestation of the thing itself, because it has to be created from the mind first, or it's actually from the soul, you could say. A soul-based concept goes out and it's like broadcast into the ethers, and it may be that person that develops it out. It could be someone on the other side of the planet that just wakes up that day and goes, oh, I think I'll make a nano-coated coil to make the electrostatic anti-gravitational platform today. and bingo, they go ahead and do it, and they don't know where they got the idea from, but it just happened to be in the air that day. I mean, we see similar things with the invention of the radio, for example, where one person on one side of the planet and one person on the other side of the planet are both, or the airplane is another example. And then they, independently come up with new innovations that are similar to each other and on the same time frame, basically. And even though they had no connection. So go ahead, sir.
Well, I've seen that happen multiple times when I myself have had a thought for an idea, and then boom, you see that idea in manifestation not very long. But I never reversed that, considering that we put that into the information field when we had that idea. That's
information field. That's the term, information field. That's a beautiful term, because that's, if you think about it, that's what creators do. That's what we're told by Mr. Kesh and Carolina and so on, especially in the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace, where we we give from our souls and actually put that thought form out that we wish for world peace, or we wish for specific aspects of that, and so on and so forth. So working with intention, working with wishes, and these wishes are not necessarily for a physical resolution of the problem. In other words, if we wish for, if some area has been hit by a hurricane or something, then we send our intention and our wishes that those people resolve their situation the best they can. But it doesn't necessarily mean we're all jumping into action to send off GANs and the actual physical stuff to that location, because it's enough in a way just to put that thought form out there into that information field. And because it comes from such a deep source, that a place of love and giving, then it goes out there, it does its work, and all the fallout is that others will pick up on it and do the physicality actions to actually implement things, or it'll create a protective field, or it'll help others interact in a different way, or whatever. It's different different effects, but if it comes from that soul-based source, then the rest is just follow through, let's say. So I think it's important to get those, thought forms, you could call them, or intentions is perhaps a better way to say it, because there's always an emotional component. It's not just a simple visualization or thought form. Holy cow! I'm gonna mute you, Sean. Too much action there. I hope everybody's okay. Sounded like some dog fight or something. All right, went on a bit there, but I guess you get the point. So I understand Gianni would like to talk, but needs some translation. Let's see, Dan, would you be able to do a Romanian to English and vice versa translation with Gianni?
I can try.
Yeah, great. Gianni, would you like to work with Dan and
Yes, Rick. Hi, Rick. Hi, everyone. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Vreau să prezint cum am continuat cu experimentele în solar.
I want to continue with explain with experiment in the greenhouse.
Și să arăt câteva fotografii și ultima recoltă din 2019, din decembrie.
I want to show a few pictures of this year, not this past year, and the harvest of last harvest of 2019.
Pot să dau drumul la screen share.
It's able to making screen share, no screen share, to sharing
Share.
Photo.
I think you should be able to go ahead, but perhaps if you stop the screen sharing, Flynn, it might help him.
Ok, se vede?
Yes.
Perfect, nice.
Este solarul în luna decembrie.
In December month, the solar, the greenhouse.
Aici am ceea ce cred că acum se cunoaște, dispozitivul numit Soarele Gianni Geta.
Here is the device, name it the sol, how to say, sun, Gianni Geta.
Dispozitivul făcut cu plasmă,
With
am folosit cele 4 gansuri de bază.
Device making with GANs, with 4 basic GANs. Plasma water, no?
Da.
Ok.
Și am continuat cu experimentele cu mai mult la nivel de câmpuri decât folosirea laudată a apei plasmatice.
Okay, and I continued with making experiment through the field more and not with GANs. It's actually in field, working with the field of plasma.
La fel am avut tomatele în luna decembrie, ceea ce în zonă, chiar în România, foarte puțini au avut și numai în solare încălzite.
In the Romanian, in December, I have few people have the result in December with hot solar, solar in the greenhouse, but here it's in the temperature ambient, like in the winter.
Aici, în zona de munte, în decembrie, am avut și temperaturi de minus 18, minus 20 de grade.
Here in the mountain zone, I have the also minus 18, 19 degrees Celsius, below zero.
În solar avem și reactoarele. Aici, în foto, se vede reactorul de oxid de cupru și de CH3.
Here I have the reactors. You can see the reactor of copper oxide, and I see the other part CH3. Am văzut și CH3 în spate?
Da.
Ok.
Față de 2018, recolta s-a dublat.
In 2018, it's not half. In 2019, it's double the harvest.
Chiar pot să spun chiar mai mult decât dublu. De 3 ori a fost.
More
kilograme.
In the how to say, in the kilograms, in the mass of production. It's really 3/2. Is 60, 17%. No, 17. 7 and 5%. More of half.
Cea mai mare parte din producție am dăruit-o la ce cunoașteți, semințe cu suflet.
Major part of this production I give it regulate in what I call it seeds of souls, wheat souls.
Aici, în luna decembrie, încă mai aveam și flori, în partea de sus, la 2 metri și jumătate.
In December month, I have the flower in the 2 meter or 2 meter half, 8.
Am continuat să udăm plantele doar o dată pe săptămână cu 1 litru de apă, fiecare plantă de tomate.
I put in the water from the plant, also in the once upon a time of a week.
Aici în foto sunt vinete de culoare roșie.
Cum se zice la vinete?
Nu mi-aduc aminte.
Berenjena
in Spanish.
I don't remember how it's called. This is like perhaps it's better. I don't know. I search the word. It's a fruit. It's cooking and making with oil and salt and putting to the bread. I don't remember how to color this. In agriculture, I'm not able to translate very good. I'm sorry.
Aici, în partea de jos, în găleți, este apă, care o țineam în solar.
In the bottom side. Go ahead. Zi mai departe.
Deci apa pe care o țineam, cu care udam o dată pe săptămână.
It's a bottle in the needs, in the bottle size with water, plasma water, which I irrigate these plants.
În foto sunt 12 tipuri de roșii, de tomate.
12 types of tomatoes.
Și am și rezultatele de la cei care au primit semințe și din anul anterior. Roșiile s-au rezultat.
I have the result of people when I give the really with 1 year ago I give it the seeds, and the people send me the result with plasma tomatoes and plasma seeds.
Și cei care au folosit semințele de la noi n-au avut niciun fel de problemă cu plantele.
The person with he utilized this seeds from the Johnny, saying it's not have the problem with the plants. It's very vigorous and don't have the problem like usual.
Anul acesta, la întâlnirile de dăruire semințe cu suflet,
In this year, in the meeting of giving the seeds with souls,
în septembrie, octombrie și noiembrie, am dăruit și tomate.
in the September, October, and December, no, 3 months. I distribute, no?
Yes.
Okay,
Da.
I give it also the tomatoes, not only the seeds.
Toți cei care au gustat roșiile au spus că n-au mai mâncat așa ceva din copilărie.
Who is eating this fruit? It's saying I don't remember how in the child when I was the child I feel this taste of remember to the home to the.
Și cei din zonă care au mâncat frecvent nu mai vor altceva.
In the zone who eat this tomatoes, saying I don't want anything else. I like it very good, very more very nice this taste, and I want more from this.
Nu atât tomatele, cât și celelalte legume din oază.
Not only the tomato, also the other fruits and vegetable from the oasis.
Și chiar feedback-ul am avut cu un grup de 40 de copii din 4 țări.
I had a feedback of 40 or 41. 40. Childs from the 4 other
Turcia,
countries.
Bulgaria, Spania, Grecia.
Turkish, Spanish, Bulgarian and Greece.
Am preparat o masă cu produsele de aici din oază.
I prepared table meat with
tipul de preparate pe care îl facem noi fără tratament termic.
Without treatment heat. The table food without treatment.
Raw vegan food.
Yes.
Pot spune că cei care mănâncă sunt puțin mai calmi, mai liniștiți, chiar care aveau probleme digestive au spus că este extraordinar.
I can tell, don't worry. I can tell the people with consume this food, it's more the effect I see. It's more calm, more peaceful person, and who have the problem with the digestion, cu digestia, I guess.
Da. Și ce este mai fain este că cei care au terenuri vor să cultive și ei la fel.
What is a beautiful thing is who have the land want to cultivate, making also putting the seeds and growing the plants.
Aici în foto sunt gansurile de CO2 puse pe pământ.
Here is the photo with the 4 guns putting in the ground.
Și ce vreau să arăt în următoarele fotografii, cum au și dat lăstar de jos, copiluți le spunem noi.
And I want to show next photo it's how it's growing the little, Johnny say, little babies from the plant, how it's growing step by step.
În partea de jos, chiar dacă frunzele și-au schimbat culoarea,
In the step side where the leaf is changing the color and same it's like how to say, it's not half the, it's like cum se zice uscat?
nu mi-amintesc acum.
Ok, don't worry.
În Spanish, sec.
Where is,
Secos.
yes, it's opposite of wet.
În partea de jos, gansurile de CO2, zinc oxigen. În partea de sus, fiole cu CH3 plus dispozitivul soare.
In the bottom, it's CO2 zinc oxide, and in top, the device like Sun GG, and device.
Aici, ce se vede în foto, e un ceas, un termometru și un barometru.
Here is the barometer for temperature, for pressure, and the other thing is orologi. Deci e barometru, temperatură, termometru și mai ce?
Și ceas.
And the clock, the orologi.
O să opresc share-ul ca să pun celelalte foto cu ultima recoltă.
I stop my share for putting the other photo with the last harvest. In agriculture, I don't learn it, the terms of plants and fruit and other vegetables, but I learn it. Deci,
Imediat.
just a moment.
Aici sunt reactoarele.
Here is the reactors, CO2, CH3, and this is zinc oxide or CO2.
Care sunt în solar.
These reactors in the greenhouse.
Și aici ultima parte de recoltă.
This is the last part of harvest.
Cu toate tipurile de tomate recoltate.
With all the tips of tomatoes.
Care o parte au fost plantate.
One part is replant for growing the next harvest.
Și cealaltă pregătită pentru următoarele întâlniri pentru dăruire semințe.
And the other part is for giving in this meeting of seeds of souls.
Aici deja sunt fotografiile unde temperatura a trecut de minus 20 de grade.
Here is the picture with minus 20 degrees below.
Ultima parte de recoltă.
The last part of the harvest.
Și mulțumesc pentru această posibilitate.
And thank you for this possibility of.
În grupurile din care fac parte, datorită faptului că am postat și am arătat.
In grupul where I sharing with other colleagues in many groups.
M-au rugat să îi ajut să folosească și ei tehnologia plasmatică.
he asking this person for helping how to learning and how to using and utilize this technology.
Și o parte chiar au început să folosească, pentru că am dăruit și gansurile CO2 ZNO pentru experimentare în agricultură.
And some people it's starting already because Johnny giving sharing also with the seeds, also with the basic gains.
Și mulțumim pentru această posibilitate și pentru posibilitatea de a împărtăși.
Thank you for this possibility, for possibility to sharing and giving.
Mai sunt și alte experimente pe care le-am făcut în mai multe zone din România.
I have also the other experiments in different zones of Romania.
Într-unul dintre ele e vorba și de un coleg care are și un dom. Solarul este de tip dom.
I have one, sorry, one colleague working with the dome, geodesic dome.
Care tot așa a avut tomate inclusiv în luna decembrie pentru prima dată.
Also for the first time harvest he have the tomato in December. This colleague.
Și pe parcurs
no?
Da, Horațiu din Cluj.
Okay.
Și pe măsură ce primim datele și în acest an o să venim la testimoniale cu noi date.
And step by step, when I receiving the results, I coming in the testimonial for sharing and showing the results.
Le-am recomandat să se înscrie în cursurile Fundației Cash pentru Agricultură.
I recommend to all the people for inscribing the agriculture size of foundation of K Foundation.
Și aceasta este și intenția mea pentru anul acesta.
And this is also my intention in this year.
Înscrierile pentru cursurile private.
For inscribing in the private teaching.
Pentru că știu că se poate și mai bine de atât.
Because I know it's possible much better and much further.
Și chiar este necesar, sunt necesari următorii pași.
And it is needed these steps. Yes, these steps in further this technology.
La fel, am început și prezentări despre agricultura plasmatică.
Also, I started the presentation of plasma agriculture.
La nivelul înțelegerii care sunt.
Of level what my understanding from today.
Și continui și cu alimentația preparată fără tratament termic.
And I continue with the food and preparing the food without heat in the cool way.
Mulțumesc
Treatment.
Mulțumesc domnului Cash, doamnei Carolina și tuturor căutătorilor cunoașterii.
I thank you, Mr. Cash.
Tehnologie.
I thank you, Mr. Cash, also Gina Caroline, and all the knowledge seekers for this beautiful technology, plasma technology.
Mulțumesc tuturor.
Thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, Gianni. Very good. Always love to see your beautiful fruits and vegetables and flowers that you grow. It's amazing.
You understand, Gianni? Ai înțeles? Îți mulțumesc pentru că este o plăcere totdeauna. Ok.
Da, tradu dacă tot o faci.
Este o plăcere tot timpul să vadă florile și toate legumele care le prezintă un oaze.
Ok, dacă sunt întrebări,
Okay, you have the question. If you have the question, saying Johnny.
Okay, I'll remind the attendees you can put your hand up and we can allow you to talk. And let me see, we've got some panelists here that might want to say something. I'm just looking at the other media we have here. Don't see any questions. Do you see anything around, Flint?
No, I don't.
All right, well, perhaps we can go to the next thing, whatever that is. Do we have a next thing? Does anyone have something they'd like to bring up, talk about, discuss?
I have a question about the.
Oh, we've got two people at once.
Two in one.
My prayers are answered. Thank you, Lord.
Two birds and
Go
one.
first.
No, you go.
One, so.
You are older than me.
Now,
You
now
go.
you're both being so Canadian. You go first. No, you go. No, you go first. No, now we'd be here for like 10 minutes in the waiting line for the supermarket, waiting for these Canadians to. I guess it's an international thing.
Universal.
Okay, let's see. I have a question for Gianni. What do you have, Mark?
I have a question about the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit in the Sean.
That's Sean, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, well let's go with Jalal first then, since it's more relevant to the previous moment, and then we'll go with Sean.
It's only one question for Gianni. Gianni, are you there?
go ahead, Jalal.
Hi, Gianni.
Hi.
Gianni, did you make the ganses of tomato?
Ai făcut gaz de tomate?
Folosesc metoda care este descrisă și de Carolina, care este postată, în care fac acea supă.
I utilize this method with when Caroline present. I make this soup. Yes, this mixture of.
Și am făcut gansul de alimente.
And it's making the gans of aliment.
I mean the whole plants.
Toate plantele, adică vrea să spună cu toate plantele, deci toate plantele.
Da.
Yes, with everything plant of oasis.
Do you see any difference when you apply this gans to the plants?
Tu vezi vreo diferență când ai aplicat acest gans la plante?
Gansul nu a fost necesar să-l aplic la plante. La plante am folosit doar câmpurile.
It's not needed. I utilize the field. It's not necessary to using these guns for the plants.
În special folosesc unde este necesară regenerarea pământului.
I utilize where is necessary for reactivate the land, the ground.
În zone unde au fost folosite îngrășăminte chimice și alte substanțe.
In another place where is utilize the fertilizer, the pesticide is poison this land with fertilizers.
Pesticide.
And I utilize
with pesticide, yes. Pesticide, right? Yeah.
Yes.
În oazele din Petrila nu a fost necesar.
In the Petrila oasis is not needed because this is already.
Nu am mers pe creșterea producției, Și am mers
thought
pe... Spune, tradu?
my intention is not making for intention for production. I'm making the intention for equilibrium, for
Crearea unui mediu în care plantele să se simtă bine, să se simtă
create
fericite.
environment where the plant is feel good, okay, in the ambient.
Okay, what I suggest, I didn't done it, but I know it from the teaching.
Deci ce îți sugerez, și nu am făcut, dar am învățat din lecții.
Any healthy plants you have,
Orice plantă sănătoasă pe care o ai,
you take the whole plant,
iei toată planta, deci un întreg,
even the fruit of it,
chiar și fructele ei,
even the seed,
chiar și semințele,
even the structure, the whole plant,
chiar toată structura plantei, deci truni, frunze, tot în ansamblu.
you make a gans of it,
Faci gaz din ele
and you apply it to another same plant, but a new one. It's not healthy, not normal one.
deci aplici asta unei alte plante care nu este, să zicem, un pic deficitară, deci nu e sănătoasă, alea mai bolnave.
Or it have a disease, or it have an infection, or whatever.
Deci care are infecții sau probleme, orice ar fi.
Even without utilizing the pesticides or whatever.
Chiar și fără să folosești pesticide, fertilizante și alte chestii.
Because you are already do it, and you have the ability and you have the capability to make this experiment.
Pentru că deja ai capabilitatea și posibilitatea să faci aceste experimente.
Even with another farmers.
With another
Farmers.
chiar și cu altă fermă, adică chiar și în alte locuri, în alte ferme.
And see if you find something new with this special experiment.
Și vezi dacă găsești rezultat ceva special cu aceste experimente. It's already done. It's waiting to result all the results.
Only this gans, not another ganses with it.
Okay. Deci not for the to the base basic gans.
No.
Deci only the gans of plant or
one plant he done everything for it, and it is very healthy, very good.
Ok, deci e vorba numai despre acest gans particular de plantă, deci de la o singură plantă care este sănătoasă, viguroasă, doar cu
and then he make the gans of this special plant.
Și face gansul numai din această plantă.
And he apply it to another one in different area, or it do not have any connection with the fields of his.
Ok, și de să faci chestia asta pe o altă plantă în altă zonă care nu are nicio conexiune cu planta, cu oaza, cu locul de unde e făcut.
Because this is what we are learning,
transfer ceea ce învățăm noi, transferul energiei.
Mulțumesc, Jalal. Și este ce am deja pregătite recipienții cu gansurile pentru acest experiment.
It's already prepared the recipient for this gans for making this experiment.
Și exact cum spui, am folosit și rădăcinile și absolut tot de la planta.
Exactly what you say. I utilize the root, the whole plant in making this gans.
Și celor cu care lucrez le-am recomandat ca însămânțarea să o facă deja.
And the person with who is working with this, I recommend the putting already the seeds.
O parte deja au și făcut-o în luna decembrie.
One part it's already making in December month.
unde am pus în pământ o întreagă roșie
Where I putting entire tomatoes inside
și
the
nu
land
doar o sămânță. Nu doar o sămânță.
and not only one seed, all the tomato in the ground.
But
Chil-
also the leaf of it and the whole structure of this tomato, yes?
Deci te întreabă Gerald
And the
dacă ai pus
roots.
toată you're talking about the guns or what is
Guns.
putting in the ground?
No, cans.
Yes, deci Gerald zice de guns. Da, the answer is yes. It's making it utilize Johnny all the part of this plant, healthy plant.
Okay. Let him please make a pictures before he put the gases to the new plants.
Ok, deci să faci fotografie, să faci gansurile, să faci fotografie înainte a plantuțelor mai ce asta și pomă după ce ai făcut experimentul ca să vadă diferența.
Ok. Thank you, Gerald.
And thank you very you are beautiful. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
It's one translation. In
Yes,
Romanian,
thank you.
in English.
Corect, să ne mulțumim.
Like Adrian saying, it's the plasma vaccine. Vaccination of plants.
Yeah, that's a nice term. Interesting idea. Well, that was a good interchange, you guys. So you kind of created an experiment in the moment, and turns out Gianni has the materials ready and is willing to follow through. That's great. Perfect.
I remember 1 year ago, it explained me how it's made in Oasis, this compost, because I call it compost, but it's nano coating the plant and utilize this nano coating from and making these guns, especially guns for plants.
Un alt experiment care este în derulare este folosind și ganzi de alge marine.
The other experiments, it's making experiment with the algs, marine seas.
With what again?
Algus. These plants of in the sea plant.
Like algae?
Ocean, yes, this plant.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ocean plants.
Mm-hmm.
Păi, de fapt,
Well, that
astea sunt
reminds me.
experimente. Ok. Go ahead.
Well, that reminds me and relates to the photobiology experiments that are referred to by Greg Braden, where they use a laser light shine through a healthy cell, and then that light, after going through the healthy cell, is diverted to an unhealthy cell, whether it be, a plant is one example they gave, or a human liver cell, and it helped to regenerate the unhealthy cell that might have been cancerous or whatnot. It's the same concept of using the GANs from the healthy plant to affect, an unhealthy or less generative crop by imparting the energy, the field, the nature of that healthy one into the other one, but using the GANs instead of light, although GANs technically could be considered light. So really the same technology, different method.
It's like Mr. Kesh explained in 118 with orange cup. With the burn hand and the healthy
the
hand.
burn hand.
That's with the
118th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, if that's what you referred to, eh?
Yes.
Okay. If anyone did have the exact time in that, they could post the link with the time link on it. That would be nice.
Jalal, making do you remember, or is needed to search in the Portugal or Romanian or all the kind of group this posting? You want to time lapse? No, the time where it explains the cache.
That can get posted if someone does have that into the chat, and we can put it into the other links. It's nice to have, when we come up with something like this, it's nice to have all the connections and links all in one part of the video, and then it's easily accessible. If someone, like this is a good example, I think, of how subgroups can be formed in the private teaching tomorrow with different topics. And this might be a good topic to pursue. And if there's, you know, half a dozen or a dozen people in a group like that that was interested in trying to become a little more scientific with it, with the results that, you know, comparing results and just basically interacting with the knowledge and giving each other hints and bits of knowledge and trying to impart a different understanding on how to do things and so on. That can all be done in one of these research groups that are forming tomorrow. So again, people can use that previous link if they haven't joined into the Telegram chats. I believe those groups will also be formed in Telegram in order to deal with specific topics. I'm not quite clear on that yet, but I think that's the way it's going to happen. So you can join in the main group. It's called the Cache One World Family group in Telegram, and there's the link that was posted earlier. And from that main group, which is a little bit chaotic right now with so many languages, and they're trying out different language translator bots that can translate your language in the group and so on. But the idea is to get together in that one group, and then from there, there'll be subgroups that'll form, that'll be getting involved in the private teaching is the idea. All right, Dan did come up with the link. Okay, well, if I could bring it up, then I'll show people how to make the link. That'd be a good thing to do. So let me share. And this is the just click on it there. This is the 118th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And Dan says start from 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Yes, because in the first part it's about Magrav. After it, all the workshop, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, we can maybe look at an excerpt of that, a little bit of it, but I mostly wanted to point out how to make the link. So we what you are
searching for?
The cup of life.
Oh, okay.
The transfer of orange.
It is more. You go more.
You're only at 1:30.
2 hours.
Well, sorry.
2 hours and.
When they explain from CO2 and narcotic play outside.
2 hours 30, I think. Yes.
Right. Okay. So now that I've got the correct time, I was working on 1 hour 30. It's 2 hours 30. Let me just get it lined up in live stream here so you can see better. Now what we can do is you can go to the share, the little share button down here. And we go share, and then click the box that says start at 2 hours 30 minutes, and then copy that link. And that link has a little thing added onto it. Went away too fast. T equals 9008. Well, that's time equals 9008 seconds from the start of the video. So you can copy that and then provide that as a link, and it'll go automatically to that part in the video for anybody that wants to watch it, so they don't have to scroll through and try to find the correct place and all of that. So it's a handy little tip for those that that might need it. It's great for if you want to give people a link to a specific Knowledge Seekers workshop or any of the YouTube videos. You can go directly to that point in the video just by going to the share button and clicking on the magic box there. Then that sets up the copy for the post, and you can actually share it right there in Facebook or wherever else you want to share it as well. All right, let's watch a little bit of this, and let me just see if there's, okay, yeah. Okay, I'm not sure how long this is going to be. I don't want to go on for 10 or 20 minutes, I don't think, but we'll go for a few minutes and get the gist of it.
It's about 22 minutes.
It's 22 minutes?
Yeah, about that.
Okay, we'll just do a teaser trailer for it then. I'm not sure, maybe I can scroll through and catch some.
But it's really very important teaching here.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we should just play it all the way through?
No, I would love that.
Okay, well, we can, so.
I saw it 10 times.
No, let's just do a few minutes of it.
Me? Do what?
I'm just saying, just do a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Is to produce a field of carbon. When you are outside, why don't you nanocoat your zinc plates too? Because now the field of nanocoat goes further than the matter state.
The whole picture.
And you still get the same rate of production, even more.
It's a half a picture. No, why you have a picture here?
Perhaps better looking where is the posting, because it's one is from KF, the other is one is from Rick, and
no, this is from YouTube. I have it here now. It's a full picture.
This is my also. I see all half picture. The format.
Yeah,
of,
I should
I
have the
sent
link
you
for the other link.
I sent you the link there. But the link on the official channel is normal. I don't know what's going on with your video on your channel there, Rick.
This is, yeah, something's.
Maybe you were you posted the you probably posted the live stream video and you had it cut off.
Maybe it was cut off or something, possibly.
Yeah.
All right, let's regroup on that.
I just gave you the link there. Yeah.
See if I can find.
Yeah, the link on our KF channel is has the full width.
Okay. Oops. All right, try again here. To start. Okay.
2:30.
2:30:03 I've got, and I think it should start right after that.
A little bit
It's
more.
actually, yeah, more
Right.
like 2:32.
Right there.
All right, there we go. 2:32:26, let's say, where he just starts to get into the board. So I'm going to do the share and start and copy, and it's now at t equals 9146 seconds.
Of the elephant, you wait till things happen.
Wait a minute, are we all set up? We should have, you can hear that okay, I guess? Okay, so. Right, I'll post that link and so people can access it later. And let's have a listen.
You don't mind. So if this is your container and you put your copper oxides nano coated and you put a zinc on the other side, the whole purpose is to produce a field of carbon. When you are outside, why don't you nano coat your zinc plates too? Because now the field of nano coat goes further than the matter state. And you still get the same rate of production, even more. If you're in water, yes, okay, put your zinc and a copper. But if you do it outside, I mentioned this in one of the teachings, and nobody picked on it, and I repeated it a couple of times, nobody understood, and that's how it was left. Because now the matter state has a field to here. The zinc state of nanomaterial has here. Why don't you get nano-coated copper and zinc nano-coated or the GaNs and put it in the water? You still create carbon. You still will create CO2. But with a stronger field, because this is the beauty of this technology. You haven't changed the material on your plate. It's the same plate. But by making the GaNs of it or nanomaterial of it, matter state field is this much from the plate. Nano is this much. When you have a GaNs, is this much. This is what I tell you, the technology, the knowledge has become a spoon-fed knowledge, and this is, I feed when I want, so I'm in charge. But this is wrong, because you have to be in charge. You have to extend the knowledge. You've seen this. I talked about this even a couple of weeks ago. Go back on the knowledge. Go back on what was taught. Add to the knowledge or understand the knowledge correctly. Let's expand on this. Now we are here. I was talking about this with Caroline last night, or last night. She was asking me the question, what is that? I said, oh, now I understand. This is the repetition of the lesson to Caroline last night on the dinner table. You have a plate. Up to now, you put the plates inside. This is what you've done. And you created CO2. Some of you did a little bit to go further. This is the problem with you lot. Don't go little, go all the way. If you understand it, you go all the way. If you don't understand it, you go little. See, let others make mistakes. You already made a mistake. You joined the Cash Foundation, so make all the mistakes all the way through. So you put in there, you're happy, you put your zinc plate inside, and you're nano-coated because you don't want to lose your nano-coating in it. So it means you haven't understood the totality of the knowledge. You're working with a field plasma. We call it the field plasma technology. So go back to what the others did if you don't feel safe. Orange, zinc oxide, copper oxide, CH3, and give me a color, amino acid. What you did, you filled up with water, you drank it, says, oh yes, it tastes like an orange, it feels like an orange, and I feel good. So why can't you translate the knowledge across? If you could bring the feel and the taste of the orange here by putting the ganses outside, how far are we from the technology understanding? Now, do the same with your zinc. Put your zinc outside, GANs of it, put your nano-coated GANs of the copper, you still make the field of carbon. You make a pure CO2. Massive amount. You don't need to be inside it. But you still have one dilemma, because you can't say they can't be there. You put it in the water to see it at the bottom. But we moved from this. This is last century teaching. 3 months ago in Keshe Foundation is like 1,000 years evolution of the man understanding. This is from 1,000 years ago, donkey time. We have moved to field technology. You still have a GANs. You understood that much. You have your GANSes there. You have created a field. So in this space, there is a field of the copper without oxidization. You put the water in, now you have a carbon. If you can convert this field, you will receive a pure diamond. I spoke how to make crystals. You never listened. It's the repetition. Put the water in there, you want CO2, you get CO2. Extend the knowledge further. I want to know how many of you will do this. You made the orange juice water, put the orange here, and now do the reverse. And try to breathe from the environment on the top. And see if you feel the taste of the orange, the energy of the orange. The answer is yes, before you try. But try it because you want to be convinced. Show me I believe it, because you don't even trust in the knowledge you carried. We entered from the plasma into field. We haven't changed the knowledge. It's the same. When you took the water, you drank it, you already entered the field plasma technology. But you need the water to confirm it. If you put the orange on the top of it without any water and breathe through it or walk in that space, you'll be literally, what can I say, swimming in the field of the oranges. You'll be orange in color as well if you want to stay along with them. Because you haven't understood one part of it. The part I explained many times. Vertical people are the same as horizontal people. And then they're all made of amino acid. That's why smell of orange, taste of orange, body of the orange is an amino acid which you have created the balance for it, and it's trying to create a field balance. That's how you brought it here. This is what I was teaching yesterday to the doctors. Maybe you can understand. Maybe we can teach you understand a little bit of it. But I'm sure you understand a lot of it. You had the orange. You had the fields, but you had to have a water to confirm you're right, because with the man has to see it to believe it. That's why we never believe anybody who says, I love you, because there is no bucket to show the size of the love. You have a system. You have a burned hand. You put amino acid, you put the zinc, you put the CH3, you put copper oxide, and a couple of other things if you understand it. You put the perfect hand, which hasn't been burned. You transfer the energy of here. You bring the burned hand and put it back up. The energy will heal you in no time. You have brought the replication of the totality of the structure into the plasma. Field plasma technology is far beyond the understanding of the man. You have a pain, you have a burn, because it's there. In the teachings I explained, use 3 different layers. Past few days I taught this again and again. But you have to see the water to be able to do it. Then I believe it. Man has been made scared of his own shadow in accepting a new knowledge, because then they can't control it. And it's done nothing but by the church and the religion. And in the space, there is no religion, and there is no church and mosques.
Well, it might be a good place to end for now, I think, if I want to compromise with Flint on that. What do you think? I think that gives the basic idea of what we were shooting for there, the interaction of the fields rather than the direct interaction of the GANs itself, let's say.
Okay, so now next month we have no excuses for new testimonials with this.
You do it first.
With the orange, not with the hand burned.
Well, no, you just burn your hand with a candle and then see if you can heal it.
Right. We'll set up a volunteer group for that.
Yeah.
Actually, there's lots of testimonials of people that have healed burns with the GANS technology. In the testimonials health section of the testimonials website, there's a fair amount of such testimonials. I think that's one of the better uses of the GANs, the CO2 and zinc GANs especially, is for burning of the skin. When you think about it, that's what lotions, certain lotions you can put on if you have sunburn, for example. Calamine lotion. I used to use that as a kid. It turns out zinc oxide is one of the main ingredients. Go ahead, Dan.
These things is explained, Mr. Cash, with why we have the 2 hemispheres of brain, or why don't we have in this environment in the mirror size to have left and right. It's explained a lot. I searching where in what workshop. If your workshop explain with this transfer. basic in all the knowledge seekers is explained the same thing, transfer, and how is create the plasma field.
Mm-hmm. And the idea of the stronger gives to the weaker as well comes in, like with what Johnny was talking about, and with the idea of using a strong plant and making a GANs of that, and using that on perhaps a weaker plant to have it grow stronger and so on. Or in this case, using the GANs fields of the good hand and transferring that into the plasmatic environment, and then putting the burnt hand nearby, and that will cause an interaction to rapidly heal the burnt hand.
Exactly.
In AVG, cerebral accident, left side, right side, how is feeling, how is reinforcing with handy man, no, with the left and right hands, is the same with the patch. It's for this reason I saying in all the knowledge, Mr. Keshe explained, and now I see in every workshop the same. The matter to the field, and to the field to matter, GANs matter, or field to the matter, and vice versa.
Dan, aici aș vrea să mai adaug ceva.
Johnny, I want to add something. Go ahead, Johnny.
Mulțumesc, Jalal, l-am urmărit video, l-am și postat, îl repostez din când în când.
Thank you, Jalal. I see this video. I repost this video from time to time.
Pentru că aici domnul Cheș explică cum putem să rezolvăm multe dintre situațiile pe care le avem.
Because here Mr. Keshe explained how it's possible solve it, all the kind of problems.
Și înainte de tehnologia plasmatică,
Before the plasma technology,
foloseam un recipient mare în care puneam plantele și adăugam cenușă.
I use it one big recipient. I put in the ash of the plants.
Și cu apa de deasupra udam plantele.
And with this water in top, I spray it from the land to the plant.
Este unul dintre motivele pentru care nu am avut probleme cu îmbolnăvirea plantelor.
It's one reason I don't have the problem with the plants.
Acum este mult mai simplu și mulțumesc pentru acest
Now
lucru.
it's more easy, and I want to thank you.
No, thank you, Gianni. I have it from you.
Îți mulțumesc, Gianni, am de la tine.
Da, știu. Să ne mulțumim nouă.
Yes, I know. Saying thank we.
You always catch me.
Tot timpul. In this picture, I see star formation, base of star formation. I see amino acid with hydrogen in top and carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen in base. When I look at this infinity loop and star formation.
Yeah, that's funny that on this one here, you mean the right hand upper picture?
In all, yes.
Oh, in all of them. Okay. Yeah.
In all, because it's the soul, the field, create the matter and get the GANs and the nano, and vice versa, from the matter to the field.
This picture seemed to have the three reactors at the bottom there. So
3, 4, infinity. I don't know. I not counting how many guns I have inside. Tonight I counting like layers.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Johnny. And let's move on here. Now, Sean, did you have something else you wanted to bring up? You were talking about the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. Did you want to talk about that?
Well, I had a question, but I almost think it was answered by this whole last testimonial and teaching. I have heard Mr. Keshi speak about not being able to go into it if you have artificial parts in you. And I was thinking about hernia mesh, and I was wondering if hernia mesh would fall into that same category, but I kind of see through the field transference that it would, because it's attempting to heal the natural form. And so if you have that artificial part, there could be some interference there.
Yeah, they could enter into a rejection kind of process, very similar to what John brought up earlier in today's testimonial, where the leg splint basically got ejected from the body, and that wouldn't be good. So Mr. Kesh did mention, however, that it would be possible to target specific areas of the body and avoid interactions with certain materials or devices that were matter level that might have been put into the body, such as a brace or some other titanium parts or who knows what. But so in certain circumstances, at least, it might be possible to either shield that part of the body or target other parts of the body in order to avoid any complications along that way. That's the way I understood it.
That's kind of got from that as well.
It would be on an individual basis and dependent on the doctors and therapists and so on, what the conclusion would be, and interactions with the Kesh Foundation and all of that. There's still lots to be discovered and to be figured out along that way. Okay. So I'm showing a picture of the unit here as it should be produced, I think, within a month or so here. And we should be seeing the first units. They're at 500,000 euros now until the 1st of March, when the price doubles. So if you didn't get in on the first round or the second round, then you'll have to be like the slow governments and pay full price, which, as Mr. Kesh says, will help pay for the previous years and years of research and development that he and the Kesh Foundation and all the knowledge seekers have put into coming to this point of being able to use this technology. And of course, Mr. Kesh has lots of plans for expansion of these units all over the world, and large multiples, let's say. Alex, I see your hands up. Go ahead there. It'd be good to hear from you. You'll have to unmute your mic. We're not hearing you yet. Hello, I'm not hearing your voice yet. Alex, I see your mic's open. Go ahead.
Uh,
Oh, now I hear you.
oh, okay. All right. Here I am sitting hoping that I'm at work and I'm hoping that nobody shows up. I'm going to steal a few minutes here. While you're on this particular screen here, one of the big concerns that I've had, and I don't know if this is the right forum to discuss it or not, but the timing is something people are saying, well, we want to wait to see it happen. Seeing is believing, that kind of thing. And the thing that I've come to realize is that there's a tangible is a non-tangible, and the tangible is supported by the non-tangible. So wherever you see tangibility, there's a support structure of non-tangibility. So when they say that seeing is believing, then what they're seeing is the physical manifestation of the non-tangibility. So the thing is that you cannot have physical manifestation of tangibility without the non-tangibility. It's impossible. So therefore, this explains why birds don't have rocket engines attached to their butts and go to the Mars and stuff like that. And when you see mosquitoes flying around, that there is no Harrier jet that can keep up with them, or even a dragonfly who chase mosquitoes. So how does a big dragonfly chase a mosquito that is flying in every direction at breakneck speed? And how do you catch that? Well, you have to be able to change direction at breakneck speed also, in fact, faster. So, and is it just speed or is it intuition? Because sometimes, you have to anticipate where they're going to go. So if they zig, do you zig? Or if they zig and you zag, then they escape, kind of thing. So anyway, those are kinds of the things that pilots are always working on, and they're very excited about how fast they can change direction, but never come close to that what you see in nature. So what you see in nature is actually the seeing, and if we don't believe in the nature, then we don't understand the plasma technology, because seeing is believing. So if you see it in nature, and if that's your criteria, then you must believe in nature, because you believe emphatically that your only belief system is seeing. So therefore, if you understand that there's a support structure, a non-tangible support structure to everything that is physically manifested, then you automatically see whatever you see is believing not only the physical manifestation, but the non-tangible. And I think this is what the direction of the Keshe Foundation is now going into. When we look at the phenomena of the nanotechnology and the GANS technology, the fact of the matter is that we can see the nanocoating and we can see the GANS. So they are all in a plasmatic energy state and of a higher order. So if we go from a physical to a nano to a GANS, we have a progression to go into higher state and then go into a plasmatic state. Problem with the plasmatic state is we can only see the form artifact. So I don't have the picture here with me, but when I put the GANS in a bottle and I find that it creates kind of a centripetal force where it creates a hollow zone in the middle, and the GANS is plastered to the outside of the bottle. This is the same way that we do with a centrifuge. I didn't do that. It did it on its own. So why is the GANS plastered to the side of the bottle, and why is it hollow in the middle, and how did it do that? So there must be a force there. So the same way that when we look at a magnet and we say that there's a field force there that causes attraction and repulsion, we can feel it. Well, we can't see it, but those who say that seeing is believing, well, they're going to have to modify that, because they're going to have to say that feeling is believing, because they can't see the magnetic force, but they sure can feel it. And if you try and take two magnets together with the same pole, you'd be hard pressed to push them together, and invariably you're probably going to get hurt. And likewise, if you reverse the poles and you have opposite poles that are attracting, if the magnets are very, very strong and you're not careful, you can pinch yourself. And you can even hurt yourself, and the stronger magnets can even break bones. So there's a tremendous force there. So if you're saying that your broken finger is seeing is believing evidence, then, you know, mission accomplished. But the thing about the magnets is that when you take the magnets away, you take the field away. And in plasma, that's just not the case. And this is one of the repercussions of the step up in the plasmatic energy. When you get into the higher energy field, then you can take away the source of the plasmatic condition, but you can't take away the form artifact. And we find the same thing happens when you're putting a nano coating, say on copper plates. The nano coating process also applies to the container. So if you're wanting to wash out the container, you will find that that's impossible because the washing method is in the matter state, which is a lower energy, and the nano coating is in a higher energy state and is totally blind to the matter state. So you cannot, a matter state cannot wash out the nano state. And in fact, there's a complete barrier there. So the point is that you can't even see the nano coating on the plastic container, but it's there. And in the previous video that you showed, and this is exactly what was Mr. Kesh was talking about. It's like we've left the nano coating and the GANS coating behind, and we've gone into the advanced plasma field technology. And it's all the same thing and all has the same repercussions. The thing is the nano coating and the GANS coating still remains in the physical, tangible state. And so even those who are seeing, they're still refusing to believe as if, you know, they have some God-given right to decide. The point is that if you're believing what you're seeing, if you understand the plasma technology, you have to know that there's a non-tangible substance behind it. So when we find that when you build a building from the ground up, you never build it from the top down. You always start with the foundation, then you have the lower floors, you go to the higher floors. So when you live in the penthouse, you're at the top. Well, in the physical manifestation, the matter state is the penthouse, and the foundation is the plasma condition. So you can live in the penthouse, and you can only see the penthouse, but you have to know that there's a structure that's supporting the penthouse. And if this discussion sounds redundant, it's fairly fundamental, because all those people who are waiting to see the universal body enhancement unit are failing in the fundamental rule of plasma science, that everything that you're seeing has a fundamental foundational structure. So if you're not seeing it, then it doesn't exist. But if you're not seeing it, it could exist in the plasma state and not manifest itself in the physical state, because there's no rule that says that the plasma has to manifest itself physically. And so this is one of the ways that we're going to bring peace to the world, because all the details that are manifested physically, all the infighting and the backbiting and the so-called pissing contests that we have among the world leaders, all this is in a matter state. And it is all supported by the plasma state. So if we can just elevate ourselves into the plasma state, forget about the details of the matter state, and then we can progress to that. So when we're doing research and development, we have to understand that if we're working in the plasma state, we can only work in the plasma state, then we don't need to see it. We don't need the confirmation, because the plasma field is there. And if we understand that, then we will move ahead. And all that is just holding us back. So the argument, and why I got into this thing, because years and years and years, you hear the thing, I'm from Missouri, I got to see it to believe it. Well, let me put it this way. Everything that you're seeing is supported by a plasmatic structure. So everything that you're seeing is a belief. And You know, the matter state is the weakest of all the energies. And even if we were to put an amount, say a mathematical amount, and say that the matter state is representative of about 5 to 10% of the energy, and the plasma state is representative of 90% of the energy, we are shortchanging ourselves, because every time we say that seeing is believing, then all we believe is the short end of the stick. And this is too bad. It's really too bad. So for those of you who still want to hang on to the old and say that seeing is believing, then you're not understanding the question, because the physical manifestation of what you're seeing is supported by a plasmatic structure. So if seeing is believing, then you have to believe in the plasmatic structure. One goes with the other. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Excellent, Alex. I think you pretty much nailed it there. It's interesting about this idea of the non-manifestation and so on. For me, for example, you could look at it in terms of what the image we see in front of us of this egg-shaped chamber, which may or may not exist in the physical. It exists in this image that we see, and you know, we see the 3D rendering. We see how it works, how it should look in our so-called reality. And we understand that it's, you know, being produced at this time, and they're working out the final details and so on, and it's ready to go into production. Now, on the other hand, if we were to visualize this unit in our actual minds and essentially mock it up and then visualize or feel ourselves actually inside the unit, and then it closing up the way it does in the video, and we're lying down on this, you know, couch thing, and there we are. We're absorbing and interacting with the fields of this unit, being taken back into the womb condition, and feeling that rejuvenation of the physicality system and of our whole essence, in effect, through that connection to the source. So, in effect, we can do all that by visualizing inside of ourselves. And you know, you can imagine, or actually do it, is a better experiment, to lie down maybe before going to sleep, or just for an experiment, to lie down and actually visualize and feel and mock up that body enhancement spaceship unit, that universal unit around us as a protective barrier. So that's the first thing you do, is create that, you know, you feel or create that that image, or that three-dimensional reality, in effect, around your body as sort of a protective thing. Maybe actually visualize it open and then closing around you to form the protective Coulomb barrier of your experiment. And then going inside oneself to feel the fields. Actually, you create the unit and actually feel the fields, and do a self-rejuvenation through that kind of process. And I've done it myself. I've been in this unit, in effect. I've felt what it's like. I feel like I'm already getting rejuvenated from the effects of this unit, and yet we have not seen one part of the physicality of it, right?
Exactly. And anyone who's participating in this program has also felt the same thing, you see. So what you've just said is that, you know, you get a mock-up here and it's helpful. And, you know, people will say, well, you know, I don't want to, you know, deal with the mock-up. I want to deal with the real thing. Well, I don't know if Estella is here, but she contributed greatly, and she's an architect, and I don't know how she gets any money because everything that she's doing is on a concept. So if she's trying to sell a concept, then if seeing is believing, then she's going to go hungry. So obviously, we're being irrational. We seeing is believing from an architectural drawing, but seeing is not believing from a plasmatic rendering. It just doesn't make sense. It's really stupid. And so what we really have to do is just explain to people that if you're understanding the plasma science, that there is a structural support for whatever you are seeing. And so you don't actually have to see it and confirm to see it, because the structural support comes first. The higher energy feeds the lower energy. So don't be going and doing the drawing and expecting to manifest this thing physically. It ain't going to happen. So the believing precedes the seeing. Hello. And I'm just emphasizing your point there, Rick.
Yeah, for me, when I first saw this image, it was similar to what we see here. When it very first came out, the very first time I saw this, I believe it was sent to me by Mr. Kesh, just before the workshop, probably during the workshop. And I looked at it and I almost gasped. I almost, did the jaw dropping thing. And I just went, whoa. That's it. I love it. This is it.
Yeah, all of us did. All of us did. And I think, when we seen it October the 10th, I think all of us did.
Well, not all, because you mentioned those that are skeptics that go, well, I'll believe it when I see it. That's their kind of.
Well, they don't understand the plasma science then.
It's an automatic, basically like a fear-based response that some people have, that, they're so jaded from things that have been talked about and not introduced, or stuff that's less than what it was, or whatever experiences in their life, that they maybe bypass that sheer joy of going, wow, I want this. This is it. This is great. And just even having a chamber that shape and able to close around you would be just one thing in itself, but actually having the fields arranged and interacting and under the care of those that know how to operate such a machine and so on, it's a beautiful, beautiful way to go, especially if it's in a fantastic setting and that's accessible to people, and it creates this beautiful environment of
but you see, if Rick, that that the GANs can give you this effect. Okay, the one GANs can give you this effect. And if I want to just draw an analogy, say to a soapbox derby, so you've got your vehicle there as a soapbox, and it's doing everything that the vehicle is doing except running the motor. And then you see a car, you can understand the car because it's more sophisticated. So your basic GANs, if you have just a one element, say your CO2, and you're looking at the universal body enhancer, which has 400 GANSes, maybe, or more, I don't know. Obviously, the more complex it is, the more stable it is, and the more sophisticated it is. So, like, if you don't understand GANs, you don't understand the universal body enhancement unit. So all those knowledge seekers who do understand that the non-tangible supports the tangible and precedes the tangible in all cases, then they understand the plasma science. So it just becomes a natural extension. And that's why you experience the euphoria. I experienced the euphoria, and many of the knowledge seekers, you can hear it in the tone of their voice and the little click of the heels and then spray in the step. So this is what's happening, because we're starting to realize the full capability, possibility of this technology. And for the first time anyway in my lifetime, many of the questions that I had with respect to creation and how things worked whether they were sentient or non-sentient, whether they were organic or inorganic, and we understand how the soul works, and we understand the positioning of the soul, and we understand the priority of the soul. So all of that now is our foundation, which we can wish to or not manifest in physical. And
so you can add more stories to the foundation if you wish, but at top level is the matter level, is the thing about it, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and it's the weakest, right?
So
and that's what
it's nice to hang out in the basement sometimes. That's where the rec room is. That's where all the fun is, really.
That's where all the fun is. That's right.
Without the pain and suffering of living in the higher echelons of the.
Well, even the people in the penthouse have to go down to the rec room for their physical fitness.
Yeah, I guess so.
Go ahead. Thank you.
That's a good example. Thank you, Alex. Anybody else want to weigh in and all that? Some good ideas there. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Sean, and when he was speaking about the GAN sitting there and coming up around the side of the glass, that's literally the picture that I just took the other day after having pulled it off the shelf for a while. That concave depression that it makes, and then I just happened to notice that on the bottle itself, it was a ball jar. They have these little S curves and grates on there that almost represent the fields that plasma makes. So I just thought that was interesting. Take a look at it sometime.
Yes, indeed. Anybody else have something they'd like to present here? We're at 2.5 hours, and I expect we're going to wrap things up shortly. We try to keep these workshops to 2.5 hours now. But if anyone has something they'd like to show, now is a good time, or like to discuss. Now is a good time to enter into it.
Remember the programs for tomorrow? 2 workshops.
Yes, thanks, Dan, for the reminder. We've got the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace at time is it 4 p.m. I believe Central European time, and
Yes.
we have the plasma reactor group on Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. But tomorrow, Tuesday, we also have in the private teaching, or I think that's the way it's going to be presented, for all the students of KFSSI. There's a introductory discussion, I believe it is. What is it called? I have to find the
2 p.m.
Yes, at 2 p.m.
Yeah, it's for all private students.
Is the thing.
Yeah, welcome to the 2020 session, and then there will be Ethos Soul discussion.
Because I see the Caroline post in groups, and for this reason I asking the program, because I don't have the clue it's a public or it's private. You are confirm.
2 p.m. is private.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have to have a student account and student ID to get in.
I wonder how the groups are going to be formed from the Telegram group. Will they be Telegram research groups, or are they going to be private teaching research groups?
There possibly could be a Telegram group for each of the new classes, but this week there's going to be 3 sessions for the students to decide what those are going to be and what topics they are and who's going to host or present during them and so forth. But there will be a separate Zoom room for each of the, I think, for each of the classes.
Mm-hmm.
If not, they're going to be integrated into the schedule in one Zoom room. We'll have to decide and see what happens. And I guess by next week, this time, we'll know.
All right, good. Some way there'll be communication with the people in the Telegram group. And in some way there'll be subgroups formed, and yeah, we'll work that out.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. We'll find out tomorrow.
It's all in flux.
Yeah.
It's all in the plasma state, and we have to materialize it in the matter level.
So if you wish to become a private student
or a host for the private student,
if you wish to transcribe, yeah.
What's happening with transcriptions now? Is there a group of transcribers, or how do you interact with the transcribing people?
Yeah, there is a transcriber group now. There's about 10 of us, and we're seeking to expand that.
Okay, yep. So how could people get into that or contact? What would be the best way? Through support?
Subtitles at kfssi.org.
Oh, okay.
Or through education at kfssi.org. Send an email. To either of those.
Okay, very good. Okay, any other announcements you may have missed? Other than, I guess we should say that tomorrow is the official beginning of the private teachings, and I guess that might have been mentioned, but just to reinforce that and that people can see it. Sean's put the, thank you, Sean, for putting the link in for the private teachings there and how to get more information and sign up. I'll put that also into the live stream. Second here.
Yeah, and I'll put it in Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, this round of the private teachings is going to be a little different, and in fact, quite a bit different, I think, than the last semesters, focusing more on breaking off into these groups that specialize on particular research and development aspects of the cache technology. So I think it'll be more practical, let's say, and perhaps more scientific, or at least looking for results in various ways. So it could be very, very good semester to sign up to. If you have any ideas that you want to manifest on this planet through the plasma technology, and you want to get together with others that have similar orientations, similar ideas, that they can, gives you someone to bounce your ideas off of in order to progress with it, in order to actually make it manifest rather than just being on the concept level. I should say just, because as we mentioned, the concept, the that initial spark of the idea is what creates the ripples in that information field, and actually creates the changes, and the rest is just follow through. So here's to creative visualization and being a creator, and may we all become into the plasma realm and be able to create as we wish. Okay, anything else for today, or shall we wrap it up? Going once, going twice. Sold to you, Flint. It's over to you.
Hey.
Thank you, everybody, for attending today. It was a great session. Lots of good ideas that are very deep in many ways. So, thank you. Okay, take it away, Flint.
Okay.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate. Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.